welcome to my first video, which is going to be on the topic how you can increase the performance of the system you're using right now. So it's a straight up answer is go get a new system, but so for majority of the people, money won't be on their side. So what you can do when you're having to stay on a crappy system, you're stuck with it, but you don't have a plan to move on right now. So what you're gonna do is you can try improving your system that you're using right now by doing some tweaks and by making some changes to the settings in your computer, or like deleting some stuff. So on the first one, what I'm gonna tell is deleting the temporary junk files. Now what these files are like, if you using a system, you install applications, you open them daily. So what all these things do is they create a kind of directory, and what this temporary files tell is like when these applications got opened, and like duration of the usage and all that sort of stuff. And as the time passes by, all these things get accumulated and they become equivalent to a gigabytes of space, and they'll be taking the space in your hard drive, which will ultimately slow down your system and making and hamper the other applications that you are using. So what you can do is go to Windows R, type in Prefetch, and it'll show you all the things that you're seeing right now is are the temporary files, which you can delete, and without worrying about like losing, or without worrying about, oh, I'm deleting application, I don't even know what I'm doing. What if it hampers, or if my Windows crash? Nothing is going to happen. All of them are temporary files, and they were just created at a time, and now they are not used anymore. And another is Temp. It's kind of similar to Prefetch. It's also stores. Like for example, a moment ago I opened a system recorder, or like the software that records the screen. So, and it created a temporary directory right here. Now you can check it. It has nothing, so it's just taking up space, 16 gigabyte KB, and as it goes on, it keeps on adding up more and more temporary files, and it becomes equivalent to a gigabytes, and it's getting stored in your hard drive, and it's affecting the performance. So you can always uninstall them, I mean delete them, if you have time. And you can if you feel like you every time, I would recommend you guys doing it every time you boot the system, like you but you if you guys feel like that, like the process is like too slow, or like repetitive, like every time coming up, typing the prefetch and just doing, so you can automate the process. You can find a lot of commands online, or you can just find YouTube videos which will provide you the scripts using the command line, the CMD, as you guys know, to automate the process of deleting the junk files from the system. I actually do have one. Like I downloaded. I remember downloading it from the online link which I found from another video. If I'll find it, I'll just link it down below. But here it is, the remove temp files.cmd. It basically deletes all the files, and there it is. And I even have a memory reduct. It's basically reduces the memory consumption on my system, making more room for the other applications that I want to use. So now, done with the junk files, now going more into the hard drive. Now hard drive is basically the storehouse, and it stores everything from Windows to your games, your other applications, YouTube, Google Chrome, anything. So if your hard drive is not at its perfect condition, you can either try changing, getting a new hard drive, or try upgrading, or trying getting an SSD, because SSD is always superior compared to hard drives. But if you cannot, then you can try making some tweaks, or like increasing performance of it by cleaning up the system, or cleaning up the disk regularly, like not physically of course, like uh, virtually, like cleaning up the junk files that's getting stored in your system by disk cleanup. What basically this cleanup does is scans the entire disk and looks for for the files that are not getting used at the moment, and so you can always delete them. And remember that all these tips I'm telling in this video are not going to hamper your system, and if you feel like if you don't trust me, you can always create a restore point and then do the steps. So if you feel like the system is performing or some weird stuffs are happening with the system, then you can always go back to where you were. So coming back to the topic, that we just cleaned the system or disk. Now we're coming back to and another stuff that's related to disk. It's going to be defragging the system. Defragging is basically rearranging all the files that in the drive in order, so whenever you fetch one, it's going to be automatic. It's going to be really quick compared to all the files scattered here and there. So defragging is also another important steps for getting your system fast as it was before. And there it is. You can always defrag them. Now the third step comes is like uninstalling the system applications that you are not using anymore. So to do that, you can go to control panel and look out for the program and features. Here it is. Click on it and it will show you the list of applications that were installed, and you can also see when they were installed. And you can look for the system and them individually and find out the application that you are not using anymore and uninstall them. And even if you feel like you uninstall the wrong program, then it's always a freedom to install them again, because they are softwares and they're not going anywhere. So it's not like never worth it to keep the applications or a program stored in your software, thinking that you're gonna use it somewhere in the future. Like, that's so stupid. Why would you keep it and just let it take up the space in your hard drive, impacting the performance of the other applications that you are using? So just go to the application, just select it, right click on it, and you can the uninstall, or you can change or uninstall the system or the program you selected, and there it is. And the next thing is updating your Windows, because as your Windows turns old, as because as your Windows starts getting older, but the other applications that you are using in the system are all getting updated, then your Windows kind of becomes incompatible with the software you're using, and the software may not perform as intended. So it's always recommended to update your Windows. So go to settings, right click on your Windows Start button, go to settings, and click on update and security. Let it load, and in my case I have the pause the update for 7 days, because I don't want the update, because I'm already up to date, but it's just asking for some stupid updates. So you can always update and again resume it, or like pause it, or you can go to, or like you can make the system, or let it update it by itself by clicking on resuming updates. So it's always recommended to update. This update not only provides you the Windows update, but also the update for the devices, like for your keyboard, for your mouse, for your speakers, and all those sort of stuff, like drivers. So, or you can manually install them by downloading it from the web and installing them manually. How you can do is as to go to Device Manager, and you'll see a list of devices that are in like components like audio, batteries, cameras, computers, and all sort of stuff. So and all of them have their respective drivers, and if their drivers are all up to date, they'll work properly, and if they don't, then they'll kind of struggle to run with the modern applications. For example, if you have a graphics card that was made in 2011, and now you're trying to run a game that came recently in 2021, so it's going to create a bit of difficulty in running running the game on that hardware. So it's always recommended to update the drivers. So what you can do is go to select a respective driver, and go to here, click on update,
And now here you'll see two options. Like if on the first option, now search automatically for drivers. Now what it does is for this you'll need to have your Windows up to date. Basically what I said before was like if you're updating your Windows, it's not only updating your Windows version but also uh, installing, like downloading the drivers for your devices, like your audio drivers, graphical drivers, display adapters, for your network adapters, and all those sort of stuff. So if you click on this, it'll just like redirect you to uh the update, like as I was telling. So and it'll ask you if you have it updated, then it'll automatically install it, and if you don't, it'll request you the update. I don't want to do it, but in your case, if you don't have your Windows updated for a long time, then you can do that. It'll definitely fix some problems. And uh, and if you have some other stuff manually installed, then you can go for browse my computer, let me pick, and from here you can select the drivers that you manually install. Like for example, if I have something installed, if I download it from the web, and I can go to have a disk, and I can browse it manually, like look, like browse, hover here and there, and find the respective driver I want to install, and open it and install it manually. So these are the only stuff that you can do to improve a little bit of performance here and there. I'm not telling that the tips that you followed, like did all along the video, are gonna make your system a complete beast. Like they're not gonna make you play, or like be able to play every game that you want to run, but they're gonna make a little bit faster than they were. Like for example, if you're facing some stutters in running even the basic applications, your video won't load, or your applications would run slow or even crash. Your Windows would not boot, it would boot at a very slow speed. So you can always fix those problems by doing all these tweaks, and always make sure that you have your drivers up to date. Because basically if you don't have the drivers up to date, then the hardware components won't work properly. As you know, this if the software there is a proper interaction between the software and hardware, it'll give you a complete system. And if you don't have any of those two up to date, then it'll create difficulty for yourself only. So it's recommended to update the driver, and remember to clean the junk files and uninstall the applications that you don't use anymore. So that's all for this video, and hope it helped. And if it helped, leave a comment down below. And thanks for watching.